Let me ask you, John, what do you think the greatest form of social control is? Law? Debt? Religion?
And this is what to do with the Malthusian mandate?
Humor me.
I don't know. How about socialization? People policing each other.
A properly tuned culture does regulate itself, yes.
We've had the same training, Simon. I'm just as aware of what shapes psychology as you are.
Yeah, see, I'm not so sure. I don't think we'd be in this situation if that was really the case.
You mean because I actually believe the world can change? A child's born, biologically programmed to adapt to its environment. It grows, inching through formative years, shaped by the traditions and beliefs of culture. Institutional education introduces structure, creating comfort with authority, regimentation, status,
Nurturing social schema.
and a fundamental insecurity, forged by a deeply unequal world. A world of sanctioned indifference, where compassion is weakness and domination is virtuous.
What survival requires.
In the current arrangement, sure. And this early sense of insecurity has a unique effect. Once childish tendencies we humans are supposed to grow out of, attention-seeking, spoiled self-interest, manipulativeness, bullying, competition, become ingrained, maturity stunted, setting the stage for yet another disciple in the cult of narcissistic individualism.
Poetic.
By the time higher education is reached, formalized academia, the stronghold of the status quo, where natural curiosity may remain, is now further constrained by specialization, myopic focus, detached from the pursuit of knowledge, existing only for the sake of commercial utility.
To define their product.
And ultimately their identity, becoming little more than yet another agent of trade, a civilization reduced to the goal of endless striving, to sell something to someone else.
The world is a business, Mr. Beale.
So the cog turns. But in those fleeting moments, economic stress does subside. When the shackles do come off, existential turbulence blooms as they desperately search for some kind of deeper meaning in the daily grind. In this emotional void, this state of loss leads to pathological escapism. Distraction and self-medication become the hobby.
So they turn to their screens, windows of projected normality, equating freedom with the unattainable delusions of wealth, fame, honor.
While constantly being reminded that they are the authors of their own misery. And success can only be a matter of winning versus losing. Since the vast majority will no doubt lose, they live vicariously. If their sports team wins the game, so do they. If their country goes to war, they wave their flags as if they were at war, while following their celebrity heroes, feeling as though somehow that success mirrors their own.
And when that doesn't work, they move inward, seeking self-help retreats, therapy, medication, illicit drugs.
Anything to avoid the identity crisis. That the society they mirror just might be deeply flawed. So the masses remain complacent, short-sighted, bigoted, primitive, delusional.
Manageable. No conspiracy required. Viable systems regulate themselves.
Viable. You see how this is sustainable.
Now there's one thing you missed in your monologue there. Aside from primal provocation, keeping people half-conscious, trapped in lower brain fight-or-flight mode. Aside from the cultural hegemony where people's values and envies mirror those of wealth and power, reinforcing the social order. And aside from the climate of opinion, fostered by the acclaimed intelligentsia, deciding the limits by which truth must conform. The most critical mechanism here is that of social inclusion. Nature wired us with a strong tendency to override rational thought in favor of group acceptance, part of our evolutionary fitness. And when people violate consensus, the nervous system seeks to correct the behavior with pain and fear, as there's little more psychologically damaging than social exclusion. To be ostracized, ridicule, stigma, loss of reputation, which could also mean loss of employment, income, loss of survival.
Yet there's a long history of people who have moved against that tendency.
A long history of very few people who inevitably turn into mere righteous symbols put on t-shirts rather than forces of revolution.
So this Orion problem of yours isn't indicative of anything?
Orion appears to be a fringe group of extremists with no public support. This is about normative culture. And my point, John, is that given our social nature, the stronger force here is not on the side of reason, it's on the side of inclusion and conformity. And that, my friend, is the greatest form of social control, and why the masses will never break out of its self-perpetuated oppression.